Hello, my name is Joe the Bear. I'm part of the ITOM product management team here at Micro Focus. And today I'm going to talk to you about some very important reasons for you to consider upgrading your existing CSA or HCM implementation. Now, before we start, I want to mention that during this short presentation, I'm going to reference a lot of useful resources that we have in this context, and that you can find all these resources in the lookbook that you used to navigate to this presentation. Now, why are we contacting you now about upgrading your product? Well, there's a very compelling reason at the moment, and that has everything to do with the end of life of Adobe Flash. And Adobe Flash is a technology that traditionally was used in both CSA and HCM to render certain graphical views. Now, as of December 31st, 2020, Adobe Flash will no longer be supported by browsers. So that means that you won't be able to access those views anymore. Now, luckily, of course, we already have Flash-free product versions out, and you can see them here on the slide. It's version 4.99 for CSA and version 2020.05 for HCM. And in this short presentation, I'm going to explain to you how you can easily get your current product installation to one of these versions. Now, we didn't just create a version of each where we simply removed Flash. No, both CSA 4.99 and HCM 2020.05, both of them come with a boatload of new features that you're going to benefit from when you upgrade. You can see them here on the slide. We don't have time to drill into them in detail, but in the lookbook that you use to navigate to this presentation, we have included links to the product pages where each of these new features is explained. Okay, so what does the upgrade path look like for CSA? It's fairly straightforward. At the top of the slide, you see where you want to get, which is CSA 4.99. Now, CSA uses operations orchestration, or OO in short, for its automation flows. So very important, you always have to make sure that you're using the correct OO version for your CSA version. And for CSA 4.99, the recommended version is OO 2019.11. For the rest, the slide is pretty much self-explanatory. You have to follow the lines. So if, for instance, you're on CSA 4.8, then you first need to make sure that you're on patch 2. Then you have to bring CSA to version 4.92, and then from there you can upgrade to CSA 4.99. If you're on CSA 4.94, then it's also pretty simple. You have one step that brings your CSA version to 4.99 and one step that brings your OO version to 2019.11. Note on the right side here that for specific older OO versions, you can upgrade to 2019.11 in just one step. So you might not have to take multiple hops here. For HCM then, the upgrade path is even simpler, since here we have in-band upgrades of OO. Basically, you just have to follow our 3-month release cadence, for instance, to go from 2019.08 to 2019.11 to 2020.05. And this release cadence upgrade path goes back to even the very first version of HCM. For HCM, there is an alternative that you might want to consider. And that alternative is called a side-by-side upgrade. And a side-by-side upgrade simply means that you're going to install HCM 2020.05 in parallel of what you are currently running. You're then going to copy all the configurations and customizations that you made in your current implementation over to HCM 2020.05. And when that is done, you're going to point HCM 2020.05 to your existing databases. Now, the downside of this approach is, of course, that you temporarily have to run a double infrastructure, but there are significant advantages. A first advantage is that no matter where you are, you always only need to take one hop to upgrade. And a second advantage is that the overall downtime during the process is very, very minimal, since your existing implementation can stay up and running until you cut over. If you want to learn more about this side-by-side upgrade option, then you should read the relevant section in the HCM 2020.05 practitioner notes. And we have provided a link to those notes in the lookbook that you used to navigate to this presentation. Here's a little high-level action plan that you should follow. First, always read the complete upgrade documentation for your product, whether it's CSA or HCM. And as always, you can find the links to those documentation pages directly in the lookbook that you used to navigate to this presentation. Second, download the software. You all will have the right entitlements to do that, so you can simply log on to our entitlement portal and grab what you need there. And then third, apply the processes that you read about in step 1 and perform your successful upgrade. Now, interestingly enough, for both CSA and HCM, there is yet another route you can take. And this route involves our brand new product called HCMX, which stands for Hybrid Cloud Management X. HCMX is built on a new platform that is shared with several other Micro Focus products, like, for instance, our ITSM product SMAX, which stands for Service Management Automation X. And this brings a lot of innovation to cloud management. For starters, in HCMX there are even more options to create flexible automation around service fulfillment than there are in CSA and HCM. We also have some amazing new features in there around compliance and governance, and a brand new end user experience that really takes self-service to the next level. So if you're interested in a detailed overview of these new HCMX features versus CSA or HCM, then again, simply go to the lookbook that you used to navigate to this presentation, because we provided there a link that takes you directly to the HCMX product brief. Now, timing is where things may get a little bit tricky. Moving to HCMX from CSA or from HCM, it's migration, it's not an upgrade. We plan to release a migration toolkit early in 2021, but of course this is after Flash will already be end of life. So if you decide to wait until we release this migration toolkit, then you'll temporarily have to get an exception to run all browsers in your environment that still support Flash. And this for the time frame between January 1, 2021 and the moment where you do the migration. We do plan to release a light version of the migration toolkit already around November of 2020 in our 2020.11 release of HCMX. This light version, however, will not be able to migrate existing subscriptions. So this means that you will have to keep your existing environment running to manage your old subscriptions, while all the new subscriptions will be managed in your new HCMX implementation. This approach can, for instance, be perfect if your subscriptions are typically short-lived, because that means you'll be able to phase out your existing environment quite rapidly. As always, no matter what option you choose, we have a full range of upgrade support services available that can be engaged to best meet your needs. We also have a team of professional services consultants who can work with you, not just for the upgrade, but also to develop custom solutions to meet whatever business goals you have. That concludes our short presentation. Just to wrap up, I'd like to encourage you one more time to check out the interactive lookbook that you used to navigate to this presentation. In that lookbook, you're going to find all the information resources that I have mentioned during this presentation to help you prepare for your upgrade. We look forward to continuing to work with you on your hybrid cloud management needs. Thank you again, and stay safe.